Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We have a very short one here. It was a news flash that came up just as I was making the last video. I did say in the video that I'd do the follow up here. It's all to do with the camper van, the SNP tour bus, if you will, that was seized from Peter Murrell's mother's house, and it's been confirmed by Humza Yousaf himself that it in fact does belong to the SNP. So we're going to just cut straight in. It's not a long piece. So be in and out. We'll find out what's going on. Why they had this tour bus. It's not as though you can go canvassing in it unless you're a married couple. And I use the term married very loosely in some cases. But anyway, here goes. So the motorhome seized from Peter Murrell's mother's house does belong to the SNP. Humza Yousaf confirms. The First Minister said the vehicle was an asset. It certainly was, but for whom? As he also admitted, people had reasonable questions surrounding party accountability. There were a lot of questions regarding your party's accountability, and yours personally, I would suggest. Humza Yousaf has confirmed the luxury motorhome seized from Peter Murrell's mother's house does indeed belong to the SNP. The vehicle was taken away by police officers investigating the SNP's finances. It had been claimed by SNP insiders that the motorhome was bought for the 2021 Scottish election, which took place while COVID restrictions were still in place. While the SNP refused to comment when the story broke at the weekend, the First Minister said that this was the case. Yeah, so you can only put either one married couple in it or an individual in it during that time. So how is that going to be any use in a campaign? You weren't allowed to mix, remember? The very strict rules that Nicola Sturgeon brought in. It seems very, very suspect. And what is it doing at Peter Murrell's mother's house? Why is it not kept an independent location owned by the party? All very suspect. As he also confirmed that he had seen the warrant listing other items confiscated as part of the probe, former party chief executive Peter Murrell was arrested last week in connection with the investigation into the alleged missing £600,000 of party funds. The house he shares with his wife and former minister, I was going to say former First Minister. Never in a million years would she be ever his former mistress. Former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon was raided by officers, while at the same time a search took place at the SNP HQ in Edinburgh. Murrell was quizzed by detectives for over 11 hours, blah, blah, blah. We've covered that. Speaking to Sky News on Thursday, Mr Yousaf said, "Of course, the police have done the responsible thing in terms of giving us, and I, as leader, have seen the warrant, in terms of the items that they've confiscated, including the motorhome that you have referenced." He described, and there's the police doing their sort of picking up and having a look around. He described the motorhome as an asset and said he became aware of it after he became party leader last month, he says. Now, insiders have claimed the vehicle could have been used if COVID restrictions had been tightened in the spring of 2021, and as it could have acted as a mobile campaign room. But you weren't allowed to mix. You couldn't come within so many feet of each other. So how on earth, at the height of COVID, could that have been a mobile campaign room? Methinks your lies are getting out of control here. You can't bring in rules about meeting and greeting people and being close and then claim that within a very tiny space you're going to have a new party HQ. You're full of it. You're full of crap and nobody believes you. The SNP is in disarray after a week after a month, in which it also emerged the party's auditors had quit in the autumn. The Nats now face a race against time to get the new auditors in ahead of July the 7th, when the Electoral Commission could bring in its own to probe the party's accounts, which is the last thing the SNP wants, because it knows that at that point some people would undoubtedly be looking at lengthy prison sentences. Mr Yousaf again claimed he had no idea about the auditor's decision, saying, "I think people have got a very reasonable question to ask the party around transparency." Yes, like, why don't you get some? That's why I've committed to a review of governance and transparency with external input. And as I've said before, a review, yes, but any kind of change and revelation, doubtful. He went on to say, Frankly, it would have been helpful to have known beforehand, but equally I know the party has been working to try and get replacement auditors without success so far. I agree and accept the premise of your question, which is that there should have been more transparency around the party finances. The National Executive Committee didn't know about this, so why the hell would he? But actually I think he would. He is so closely aligned to the Murrells, to the Sturgeon and Murrell, to that hierarchy, to that old firm, that cabal that was basically running the entire party. He was their protege. He was there. For him to say he didn't know is deeply ingenuous and frankly unbelievable. I certainly do not believe that he did not know. Anyway, that's fine. I shall round off there, come up, and we'll finish this video. But it is telling that it definitely is the SNPs, and they bought it and then gave some bullshit answer. Anyway, coming up. Every day, more and more revelations come out about this party. Something you think is small to begin with becomes a major story because it in itself is small, but it hides so much more. So this was just one vehicle. They found one vehicle, but then you look at the story behind the vehicle and it's why did it cost so much? Why was it at his mother's house? Why was it bought to host people in during COVID when people couldn't be together? This, I think, is going to be a major story. I think this is going to be a big part of the court case, because I think as it goes on, more and more that this is going to end up in a court case. There's going to be a lot of senior people involved in this. It isn't just going to be Murrell. I think there's going to be quite a few people. You don't just go out and buy £110,000 worth of vehicle, even if you are Peter Murrell. Not with party funds. There's got to be some control over it. So undoubtedly it's a conspiracy and other people were aware. But on top of this, on top of everything else, where has the rest of the money gone? Where has this gone? Where's that gone? Who's overseeing this? Why did they quit? Where's the accounts problem? What's the problem with the accounts? Why are these people fighting with these people? Why can't you get an agreement with this? The whole party is... Well, first of all, we all know it's imploding. What I'm going to say is I've never seen any political party go through so many chaotic traumas in such a short period of time and yet still survive. It is it's unbelievable that it still exists. How on earth this still exists? This party is still going. Nobody knows. And how Humza Yousaf is still in charge is one of the biggest mysteries. Philosophers will be pondering this for millennia. But certainly I don't have the answer, and I don't think anyone has the answer. But I don't think, however, he'll be in charge for long. But it is... I don't know where it's going to go next. Just wait and see. See what the next story is in the continuing saga of the SNP. God help us all. Anyway, I shall finish there. If you like what you see here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment, share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't go buying buses, and goodbye.